Hey, buddies. Welcome to Barn Burner on a Monday.
That feels like a Monday.
It kind of does feel like a Monday. We're having some Monday things. There's some Monday in the air.
Just glad the Boomcat's here on
It's
Monday.
very Monday, Monday ease seeping into things here. We'll be all right, though. We'll be all right. There's the Rhettster. There's Ryan Pinder. And we are in the Tower Chrysler studios. Tower Chrysler continuing until the end of the month, which is what tomorrow?
Couple days.
Jesus. Where'd February go?
Tuesday,
Anyway, end of the month, they're going to be collecting winter clothing, warm stuff, mitts, toques, hats, jackets. At the dealership, they are going to jam a ram in the showroom, then take it down to the mustard seed. And if you do, name into a draw drum, somebody going to win a nice little prize at the end of the month.
Go get it.
The most important thing is helping out those that need some warm clothing with the mustard seed. Good people at Tower Chrysler. Much better people than us.
Always.
Some of the best, actually.
Not really close. Yeah.
Hello, Rhettster. How are we doing?
Yeah, he's muted.
It's Monday.
Heavy sigh.
It's Monday. It's Monday. No, I'm great. I actually had a great weekend. I don't drink. I take care of myself. I sleep. I'm active. I work out. I make good choices. Things are great.
Yeah. That's good. Were you making those good choices in Buffalo this week, or were you on the road in some in Seaboard City that we may or may not have heard of?
Backwoods dive. No. We're pretty much done. We had 6 games this weekend. 2 kids are wrapped up, and I forgot that we got 2 more next weekend, and then she's all over for kids hockey. Hooray! I mean, no, boo. Sad.
Yeah. How do the kids feel about it?
Well, you want to hear something stupid? Like, just so the people in Calgary, because I talk to lots of parents in Calgary, kids in hockey, and everyone thinks it's idiotic how things operate and this and that. It's a little idiotic everywhere, folks.
And for all kids sports.
Yeah, that's right. It's not limited to one sport or one location. It's a common theme in any type of youth activity. Tomorrow, they have tryouts here, and they have tryouts for teams that aren't done their seasons. So, and all the tryouts are on the same day. And if you don't make one team and you can't race across the city to somehow make another ice time in the same age group, well, you can be left without a squad. Right. And on top of that, there will be kids getting cut from teams that still have a month of hockey left. So they'll be told that next year you're not part of the squad, but boy, we really need you for the next 3 weeks.
Go get him, Tiger.
Yeah. See, I kind of get the rationale in a way with doing some evals at the end of this season.
I don't mind that.
Let's spend all summer on the ice, right? Like you are at this point in the season, you probably are what you are. I'm fine with that, but that's a little on the crazy side.
That was one of my beefs with Calgary hockey was why don't we do the tryouts when the kids are done, in the spring, so that you don't have to spend all summer on the ice, so that you're ready for tryouts, which start the first day of school, which is absolutely asinine as well. But then all those people that are making money on the summer hockey camps wouldn't be able to make money, boom. So, I mean, they're not going to vote that in.
Yeah.
Good, hardworking people.
But
weren't you one of those guys?
No, but you also can't
brush that off.
Can't cut kids from teams that aren't done. It's all
that's bad.
Poor planning.
Did you see what the big club's doing there? Back-to-back huge playoff implication games for the Sabres. Huge win over Florida on Friday. Huge win over the Caps yesterday. They're going to get in.
The Eastern Conference is drunk right now.
Rhett's been on the scene, and he said right from training camp, this team's got a shot. They're coming. Look out, Eastern Conference.
I know the game of hockey, folks. I know the game of hockey.
There's got to be a buzz. I saw there's 19,000 plus yesterday against Washington at Boston or the Buffalo Arena.
The workhorse from Whitehorse.
Yeah, howdy.
Yeah. We're wound up wearing those blacks.
I'm telling you, I don't know. Answer me this, fellas. Answer me this. Why down here in the States are they all for afternoon games on Saturday and Sunday. I mean, the NFL plays during the day. They're not concerned about it. But in Canada, I'll be damned if we're going to have afternoon games and not sell beer. Son of a, what are you talking about? Why would we make this available for the children and the kids and the families to go to? That's ridiculous. We might not get the beer sales. That's the only explanation I've ever heard. Do you have insight that it's for other reasons?
Well, it's always traditionally been a weekend evening thing, stretching back to like what the 50s and 60s, Hockey Night in Canada. And in the US, you don't see a lot of weekend afternoon games until football season's done. So people are used to watching sports Saturday, Sunday afternoon in the States. And now they've got a national game on EBC Saturdays. They go to a lot of Sunday programming nationally. And sports fans in the US are ready to go watch sports Sunday afternoon. They don't really, that's not like that's a CFL common spot. And hey, I mean, whatever works for you. It's just culturally.
I would debate you that it's for after football. I agree it wouldn't be as often, but I still think there's, comparatively to the Canadian market, it's not even close.
Yeah,
Like,
for sure. Yeah, no, you're right. Well, you make more money on afternoon gates in
the hell do I care? My point was, would there have been 19,000 people at that game if it wasn't an afternoon?
Yeah, see, that's a good point. I think afternoon's a good draw in U.S. markets, whereas here it'd be like, oh, fuck. Well, there's 3 afternoon games in Calgary this year. I believe they got one left. San Jose, late March. There was the Monday at 2 p.m. holiday against Philly, and there was one other earlier in the year that was a matinee on the week. That's it.
Now, it was a week off for the kids last week, right there, wasn't it?
Yep.
Yeah, they got to go
Not
seize
everywhere,
the world by the
but
yeah.
So would that have weighed into it? Because it feels like if it's part of a holiday, like American Thanksgiving, yeah, let's do a matinee game. Whereas here, if it's just a week in the middle of winter, I don't know if I want to go to a game on a Sunday afternoon or a Saturday afternoon. I'd rather go at night. Maybe. Yeah. I don't know. I don't really
don't care.
Don't really care.
It's one of those topics.
Anyway,
you know who would dig into that?
I mean, it is one of those things where American sports fans, they're used to NFL football for half of the season starting at that time.
Well, and even bigger than that, college football, right?
College football, basketball, everything. They're not worried about it being at night, I guess.
Not at night. But back to your Sabres. Come on now. We got a man on the ground here, Dean. We need some expertise, some intel, some insight. They get in?
What do you want to know? They're a damn good team. They've got high-end talent. I mean, they're too loose in their own end for my liking. I don't think Craig Anderson is going to help you get there. Their goaltending to me remains a question mark. They're outscoring teams, which is great and exciting, but I don't know. There's a lot of good teams here. That's the problem, right? If they're in the East or the West, yeah, they're absolutely in, and they're probably home ice, to be quite honest with you. But out here, she's tough. It's a tough road. They're going to grind out till the end, though. It's nice to even have games. You think of the people in Buffalo that they haven't had important games post-Christmas for a decade.
End of March, that's wild. That 1 year they had that 10-game heater, but still the wheels had come off, to your point, before they got to the new year.
So they're loving it.
Can you feel the passion, Dean?
Yep.
Holy shit, it's infectious over there.
Yeah, I'm feeling it.
Whew.
I am definitely feeling it. Meanwhile, here,
less infectious.
I mean, there's games. So afternoon, evening.
Turn a positive into a negative, Dean? Turn it a positive into a negative. Attaboy.
Not at all. Not at all.
Not Dean. Not the Boomcat.
It's Dean's fault. Come on,
Dean.
I don't think I have much to do with it. I think that the hockey team has a lot to do with it. Did you see the game the other night?
Yeah. I mean, it went pretty much how you'd expect it to go.
Were in the camp of they play up to the level of their competition.
I've also been in the camp that please don't start Markstrom again the rest of the year. Not that it's all on him, but 2-on-2 against the defending champs, like the rest just doesn't matter.
It's a curse.
Come back.
It's a curse. 2-on-2? Like, come on, right?
And look, they neither are like egregious, but still.
Start the bus,
you
get
need
the plane in the air, fuck it, we're out. 2-on-2, just shut her down. It's not meant to be for that guy.
And what's weird is that in the West, to Rhett's point, how wide open it is, like I don't know that I wouldn't put money. If I had to put money down on any team to win the conference, it wouldn't be Colorado right now. They're right fucking there. And they've been missing guys all year. McCarr's on the ice today, non-contact jersey. They haven't seen Gabe Landeskog. They missed 40 games of Josh Manson, top 4 guy. They've missed Bowen Byram. Like Rantanen missed time. It's insane. They're still the best team in the West. They got to be. It's not close. Who's in the same neighborhood?
I like Colorado.
Like, I haven't seen enough of Dallas, but I mean, there's some parts there that you like.
There's some
I love
parts
the
there.
goalie. No one in the Pacific seems really good unless they get Stone back in Vegas and Edmonton decides or learns how to defend. That'd be new.
Well, I had a little hey, did you know?
Mm-hmm.
Hey, did you know?
Hey, did a little?
That there are 6 points separating first and the second and final wild card in the West right now.
8 teams, 6 points.
Vegas, 76. Seattle, 70.
Jeez.
It's not a lot of separation.
Nay.
So, yeah, Colorado, win the West. It's right there for you.
I mean, why wouldn't they?
Yeah.
Silly not to. Probably want home ice, right?
Well,
So, anyway, you want to get back to the game or?
Well, I don't know. I don't know that there's any takeaways that you knew Colorado was better. You knew Colorado with a 2-goal lead was going to be almost impossible. And you knew the Flames hadn't been getting goaltending here for a while from either guy. Unfortunately, Vladar's had a bad month after a really nice run there. Good fight. Talk about that in the Pinder report.
as importantly, does it not appear that our hopes of this team rallying and getting some goaltending and scoring that goal and finding a way to get in, even if they do, if this is the sort of matchup they're going to come up against in the playoffs, are we?
Yeah, their odds making it continue to fade. And if they're facing Colorado in a best of 7, I don't like anyone's chances. I'll listen on other teams and we'll see if they get in where it is. And like, we don't even know who's going to win the Pacific here. Like if somehow Winnipeg got hot and you face them as a wild card, I don't know, like whatever. Like Hellebuck has a bad 2 weeks, anything can happen. But I'm worried about this team getting in. Never mind how they square up in a matchup. Jeez.
It still comes back to what are you? Other teams, they'll go up or down and maybe, what are you? Good Lord. 60 games in. What are you?
Yeah. Well, I think there's a lot of teams in the West asking that question. What are Seattle all of a sudden? What are Winnipeg all of a sudden? Those are your 2 wild cards this morning. Hey, guys, welcome back to the wild cards. You haven't been here for months, if at all this season. There's a lot of who are you at West. I think I know a lot about what the Devils and Rangers and Leafs and Lightning and Bruins are, what Colorado is. There's a lot of
those teams stepping up over the last few days.
Especially in the East, yeah.
Yeah.
Because they actually know they're contenders.
Yeah. But it was kind of a sobering, disappointing one because you had the Arizona game. You felt, okay, come on now.
Nice rallying point there.
Staying with the process. You played well against Philly, deserved a better fate. Then you beat Arizona. Vegas, you had you shouldn't have.
Jeez.
Right? 3-1 going into this one was not their game.
Nope.
And last on a road trip against a good team, that's going to happen.
And you fall way behind and get chances. I don't care.
I don't think you have a whole lot of.
But how much belief would you have gained if they had one? That's 5 out of 6 on a road. They played well for 6 or 7 in a row. Geez, we're coming together here. Now you're left in the same spot
they're in. They got 2 games till the trade deadline. They haven't strung together back-to-back wins in over a month, if I'm correct.
A month, yeah.
And they are 4 out of a playoff spot. They still have a very easy schedule. Well, that
5.
doesn't seem to matter to this group because they play like shit against bad teams. And I wonder what conversations are happening behind the scenes, because you could talk about selling at the deadline or standing pat or buying. But I think the bigger question, and it's the question Rhett's been asked for a while, is like, what's the plan long-term here? We don't even know who's GMing this team next year. And you could raise some serious questions about the coach for next year. If you don't have that person in place, or you do, if you know who the GM is, then let them do their thing. But if they're not going to extend Treliving, or Treliving's not going to re-up here, are you really going to sell the parts of next year's team?
Do you believe, and we've never really talked about it, do you think that the Flames would not re-sign Brad Treliving?
Absolutely possible. Right?
I don't know
Well,
what
of
you're
course it's
waiting for if you're
possible.
going
Losing
to.
a
I don't know what
contract.
they're.
Reasonable.
Yeah, but what the hell they're waiting for if they want him back?
I mean, it could be something where they want each other, but they're coming to terms. I just don't feel like it's that way. It almost feels like this is a power struggle between the coach and GM, and the owner's stuck in the middle.
I don't know if it's a coach GM. I mean, how do we know if it's a coach GM thing? That's a tough. I'm in agreement with you that there should be clarity on who's running things.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm going to say it's a coach GM power struggle, but it is odd to think that if you don't trust him, fill the spot, make the change, like
And if
as
you
an ownership
do,
level. What's
yeah,
the
the
holdup?
opposite. And so this is the lame duck GM at a deadline. And I've heard a lot of people saying, oh, you got Celtifoli, trade Backlund, move Zadorov. You
Those
get
are the guys you want to keep.
over Hannafin. You've got Tanev would be a great addition. And all that's true. I just think the problem of the concept of selling next year's free agents is if you're going to have a new GM this summer, shouldn't they be the one making the decision on whether you extend, trade, or like walk into the season as free agents with these guys? Like the vision of the next guy is very important, or it's this guy, but at least give him the terms so we can get to work here.
And so a question I wanted to ask and get figuring out too is if they miss this year and Kadri and Huberdeau continue to be average players, and is it imperative you move them now? Or can you risk starting the season next year or in the off season? I'm not saying in the next couple of days. Or can you move them at all? Or can you risk them being subpar or ordinary next year where now you can't move them? First of all, can you move them? And if you risk hanging on to them, they have another subpar year. Are they ever tradable?
Kadri was 32 when he signed that contract, and there's 6 years after this one. Huberdeau is 30, and his new contract kicks in next year. And making it worse than just the money and the term and his age is that nearly 80% of it is signing bonus money, which means if things go sideways, you are not able to buy it out. It's why Milan Lucic has never been bought out, even though the Oilers would have loved to have done it. You cannot get relief from signing bonus money in a buyout. And that's getting really nerdy, but what it makes is even the object more immovable than it was before. And I think to put them in the same group is fair because they came in as free agents and came off career years. But Kadri's looked much more like the Nazem Kadri we've watched in this league than a decade than Jonathan Huberdeau. He's the massive outlier. How do you go from 115 points to like 50? That's kind of what we're watching here. Kadri's numbers aren't far off career norms. So I think, there's a conversation to be had about Kadri. But the other thing is, like, look at all these deals we've seen in the last week. Who's moved with term? Like nobody wants to commit and get locked into money.
Timo Meier.
No,
okay,
it's team control, but not term.
So great. But why the hell did we do it? We did it because of Gaudreau?
Because no one saw Jonathan Huberdeau turning from superstar into can't even flirt with.
Don't say no one. Don't say no one.
Well, no, you didn't like the idea of extending him. That's fine. But that's not the same as saying, oh, he's going to be a 50-point guy. His production will get less than half of last year. That's the whole point of.
Yeah, but the whole point of not extending it, or my opinion was, and I don't think I'm the only genius that might have considered this. The whole point of not extending him was, well, prove it here in Calgary. Aren't we all happy to pay these guys? It's the same as Gaudreau last year. We're more than happy to pay these guys when you go out and produce. And we
did you think he was going to falter to this point, though?
Probably not to this point. Not to this point, but that was my whole point. I'll be happy to pay you. Come in and score 115.
Yeah.
But if he's at this point, the negotiation right now is a lot effing different right now with Jonathan Huberdeau.
Of course it is. Yep,
right?
It is,
or you're trading him for a huge windfall. Or you're trading him this week for a big windfall. And
or a small one, but you don't live with him. Yeah, either way. I don't have a problem with Uyghur in terms of that money. He's on the top pair at skate this morning. And
I have a
know it
problem with
hasn't been a
Uyghur
banner year for
because
him.
I don't know what point you are in your. It's when Kipper was here, and we had all those old bastards that should have been traded years before, and Kipper covered for them all, and you had a bunch of muck, but Kipper was really good, so you made the playoffs. What's Uyghur if he's? It's fine. Again, I'm not against Uyghur. It's just, where are we in the growth of this organization and this team? We don't need a Uyghur. You're absolutely listening to offers on Uyghur if you're in this spot and he doesn't have a long-term contract.
Yeah, and you know what? That deal's more movable. I really believe it is. And there's whispers that Ottawa's interested. I don't think it's absurd for a 2-3 to make $6 million, even if there isn't a lot of offense there. And to be fair, he's a year
It's not the
removed from big
point.
offense.
It's your return on investment. If you don't sign these guys, and this is exactly why I said you shouldn't sign them, was because I wasn't convinced that this was going to work out. And it hasn't worked out. And right now, Brad Treliving would be getting calls on these guys and looking at the offers, and you would have a direction that your team is supposed to be going in. Right now, we don't know what that direction is. And that's the hardest part, I think, for a fan, for us, is to figure out, if we hang on to this, fine, we don't make the playoffs this year. Okay, that sucks, and that's the shits, and things didn't go well. Oh, we're banking on a bounce back next year. Well, that's a big maybe. That's a big maybe with aging players with massive contracts. That's not a direction to me. That's a maybe. That's a big if.
For sure it is. I agree. And look, like, you are right on the extension conversations. To this point, it's been an unmitigated disaster. And in hindsight, you wish you didn't sign them. The problem is we're here now. Someone's going to be the GM of this team this summer, whether that's Treliving or somebody new, and they're going to have to deal with this shit. And that's what we're all talking about here, is what is the plan moving forward? And how does this year's deadline factor into it if you don't know that the guy running the deadline is or isn't going to be here this summer? Like, that to me is the most pressing issue, big picture right now, is who is going to build the plan for this group moving forward, and what is the plan?
Well, I think we know what the plan is. The plan is probably going to be what it has been for the last 20 years, which is try and put out a team that's going to make the playoffs. They haven't strayed from that.
That's probably it. But again, if it's not Treliving, does
it matter which GM it is?
I wonder.
Feaster, Daryl Sutter, Brad Treliving.
I mean,
it has not changed.
We jumped on Feaster. It was an idiotic comment. We're going to make the playoffs. Remember, he said it in training camp one year when he was here, and Pinder, you were flipping out. You're like, why would you say that? Like, what is the objective here? Anyway, I think you're right.
Two players in the draft.
That was the mandate. That was the other thing he always said, is the mandate from ownership is to make the playoffs.
Well, and the mandate probably doesn't change, to your point, but I wonder if this past year hasn't been a sobering reminder of, okay, like,
well, I don't know. They've been worse than this. They've been older than this.
Of course,
they've had worse cap implications.
Where have they been? Where have they missed expectations by this much? Maybe not since the year after they were the 1 seed in the West, and that's really what this is about. It's not that like they're awful, because they're not. If they had a few more saves, they're probably hanging on a wild card. To Rhett's point, long-term plan to just be a wild card and try to get in. But I wonder if there's a more disappointing 6 to 12 months than what this owner's watch transpire.
Boy, and you know what? You talk about missing expectations. I don't think expectations were crazy. You had a goaltender who was tremendous last year. You brought in a guy who was a perennial top 10, top 5 scorer. You had reason to believe that this was going to be a good team that would be contending for the division.
We thought it was a deeper blue line. Wow, you got like 5 top 4 guys with adding Uyghur to this mix. We didn't know Shillington was going to be here, but still, you're deeper on the blue line. You're 1, 2, 3 down the middle at center ice. You're like, holy shit, like Backlund's actually a third line center now. He's going to devour those matchups, and he has. He's been great. Probably he and Toffoli are 2 best forwards. You're okay. We got some kids that are ready to come in. Here's Jacob Pelche probably graduates this year. There's a lot of reason to think this team would be good. What no one saw, and we could talk about the production of free agents, but like nobody saw this team being 30th in save percentage at 5-on-5. Like what?
No. Especially with the coach and the goaltender.
Team.
Say it again.
30th in 5-on-5 save percentage. And so I think there's flaws with this group, and it's not a perfect roster. But if you had 15th or 16th ranked goaltending at 5-on-5. Like, where are you? What are we talking about? I don't know that it's the same conversation. It's really fucked them. The goaltending. And no, they're not great. Sorry, go ahead.
Play the game, though, because Pinder, you understand the more you dig in more and you're nerdy with numbers and you're better at it. Put your GM hat on. What are you doing?
Well, you got a kid in the minors that's been superb stopping pucks everywhere he's been his whole life that is starting to look like, okay, graduation time is getting close. Is it this spring? Is it next fall? When you're a rookie and a sophomore and you could go theoretically back-to-back goaltender of the year, it might be time to graduate. So they got to figure out where, when, and if Dustin Wolf gets a look. And if that's the case, now you're looking at, okay, what is Markstrom? How much would you have to eat to move him? Is he a buyout candidate? And what's Dan Vladar, who, when he was extended at $2.75 million a year, looked like a really good backup, but all of a sudden now you're like, geez, now he's looking like the guy that needs one more save a night, and it's only one bad month, but it happens to coincide with a month where Markstrom's not making a save. I think they got to figure out what they're doing in net here.
Are you making these guys available right now? Are there teams out there that can take on Vladar or Markstrom? Probably not for the.
Nobody wants a goalie not in form in season. In the off season, sure, but not right now. You're playing in front of a different system. You have new goalie coaches. There's that communication between D and goalie.
But Vladar, you could argue. I mean, his last two games have maybe been subpar, but I mean, prior to that, what was it? 10 in a row with points.
He had a nice point streak. The numbers are like league average or a little worse. I don't know that anyone's like, hey, let's go get Dan Vladar.
No, but he's a safety net for he might be safety net for teams that anyway, I don't know why the hell I'm arguing.
I think all the contenders have backups as good or better is my thought. Like,
well, Keith Kincaid just got traded.
He's a third stringer. Yeah.
Oliver Shillington, 31 points in 73 games last year, was for what you say, plus 34. And I know the team was different then.
Everyone was plus.
But how are you going to ever, like you say, you bring in Weegar, yeah, but you lose another one of your top four. You lose a top four guy and your goalie, the bottom falls right out. 88 save percentage.
It's getting worse.
He's AHL. What has happened?
Who saw this coming? No.
How?
Top 5 in Vezina votes 2 of the 3 seasons prior.
Gaudreau wasn't a Selke guy, nor was Kachuk. This isn't as though they went from a stout defensive team that kept shot totals low and protected their goalies, and now it's a friggin' pinball machine.
It's a similar environment, right?
Jesus Christ. It's the same coach,
same system, similar environment in terms of quality of chances. Maybe a little more higher danger this year.
Out of all the years, right? You just scratch your head and you can't figure it out. Islanders thought, well, it was the road trip and the new building. Well, how'd they go from there? Well, you had some rationale.
And some injuries, yep. This team's been healthy.
The locker room doesn't seem right. I don't think the players like the coach. The goaltender has gone right off the rails.
And by the way, congratulations to Jacob Markstrom, who welcomed his first child into the world today.
Congratulations, Jacob.
I wonder if he's been thinking about that.
Well, but let's not discount that. That might be a huge piece of the pressure that he's feeling. How the hell do we know, right? Like
I'm not trying to joke about it.
There's nothing bigger in life.
I know.
I would think, Rhett, if you tried to chalk it up, I don't think he's lost the physical ability to play net. I think most of his issues are right here, right? Like between here and here. That I'm pointing to my ears, by the way, if you're listening.
That's right.
I think these are mental problems with his game, not physical ones. Would you disagree with that? Like, because I'm not making light of it. I'm trying to remind people that, yeah, like that's a big change for someone.
Not in the least. I mean, it can be, and rightfully so, an all-consuming thing. Like it's 100% something that can be. It's not bothersome. You have a different lifestyle. It's a whole different purpose with life. Everything changes. So, yeah, not easy to deal with.
You ready to not sleep?
Just wait till now. Like Christ, now the kid's here. Now, could I convince you, and I'm not trying, but could I convince you that the best thing for this team would be simply to run it back and say that Markstrom, Huberdeau, everything.
Maybe a Shillington, maybe a Wolf.
Whatever.
Yeah.
Anomaly. I don't shit year, circumstances that were out of your control. Maybe it took a year for the Gaudreau, Monahan, Kachuk, all of that to somehow iron itself out, get the room right, that too much went too badly in 1 year for this to be something that isn't just a blip.
To say it's the best course of action might be a bit of a challenge, but to think that it would be unreasonable to suggest they'd be good again. No, like where were Seattle a year ago? Where were the Devils a year ago? Where was Buffalo a year ago? Where was Winnipeg a year ago? Like, we forget that year over year, there's just a lot of chaos and volatility. It's not like there's 16 well-run teams and 16 poorly run teams, and those are all your playoff teams, and these are all your shitty teams. Yeah, there's a few that linger on the same side of that line for a while, but there is huge churn every year. Like Florida. How the fuck do the Florida Panthers not own a playoff spot?
The Winnipeg one's interesting.
There's
like
lots of them, man.
If you only want to look at the goaltending, because good team when their goalie's good and struggle to get in when their goalie isn't good. And he was not great last year. And this year he's bounced back, and look where they are. I don't know. I
think it's probably what this team ends up doing, because it's not crazy to think they could be better. And it's not crazy to suggest they could get better goaltending than 30th. You know, dare I say even top third, given that the coach and some of the personnel you have.
And as you said, I don't see how you trade Weegar. You can if you really want to lose.
How do you dig out of it anyway?
I don't know.
Like,
I don't think
losing a top four guy doesn't help you, especially if you don't know that all our Shillington's come back. You don't want to play with 3 top 4D. And like Nikita Zadorov's done a lot of things. I don't want to see him in a top 4 role, because every time I do, I'm pulling my hair up.
And you got a lot left. Somehow.
Hair.
With
I
all the
I
hair
thought you meant of
Zadorov.
Zadorov. I was getting scared. There's only one more year of Zadorov. There's a guy who can train right now.
You know what I mean, Rhett? I don't know, because I'm with you. It's like blow it up and get, but they don't have a lot of young D or forwards waiting to break in. You can trade for draft picks or whatever, but it takes a while for them to come in.
Yeah.
I almost feel like, and I'm not hanging my hopes on it, but do you look at it and say, let's bring it back? You got to just bring it back.
Tweak.
Maybe at worst case, it's not right, but you get more for those guys next year than you would right now, because they are absolutely.
The problem is
just because last year the deal. Yeah.
So I agree with it. And I think that's probably what's going to happen, because I don't know how you spin this any other way. I think you have to stick to this lineup in a way, like to try and make change, because what you're going to have to do to make changes is trade guys you don't want to trade anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? Like the movable pieces are the pieces you want to keep. So you're going to probably have to. Yeah. What's
so
that?
Like, let's say, perfect example. It's like, oh, you could get a ton for Tyler Toffoli. Like, you're damn right you could. But guess what you're going to spend all offseason trying to do? Find fucking Tyler Toffoli to sign him. Like, you're not going to go to the market and find a guy that's going to score 30 for 4.25. Of course you get a lot for Tyler Toffoli. And he opens a Tyler Toffoli size hole in your roster. Whoever the fucking GM is. You could do it.
So unless you're going completely restock and build from the ground up type of scenario, then you're trading guys you don't want to get rid of anyway. My concern with going into next year is, does it become even worse if it doesn't work out? Now, how do you dig out of it?
You have a liquidation button next year if it doesn't work. I don't think it would be hard to move any of those 6 free agents next year, even if the team isn't playing well, because Tyler Toffoli, his whole career, has scored goals. Chris Tanev, his whole career, has played shutdown D. Now, maybe there's an injury concern with Tanev. I'll give him that. That's the only blemish on his whole resume, is that he can miss a lot of time. He's missed 10 games in 3 years in Calgary. That's incredibly low for 3 years or 2.5. I think clearly Noah Hannafin has the capacity to play huge minutes anywhere. I don't think you ever want him running a power play. Michael Backlund can clearly be a shutdown centerman. Elias Lindholm, everyone would want to build around, and he's up at the end of next year. If this thing goes off the rails next year, you can still turn all those parts around. I haven't even mentioned Zadorov. Like, I think you could get almost a first for every single one of those guys. And all of a sudden now it's like, shit, this could be a retool. I don't need to use all these picks. I can go swap it over here and grab that guy and give a pick here and take that guy. I don't worry about carrying those assets into next year. And at least, whether it's Treliving or not, you'll have the guy that you want making the plan if it goes sideways.
Yeah, and I guess if you're going to move all those guys and do a retool, and you're forced to, it just sucks, because you're going to be have to hang on to guys like again, we're playing the what if. So what if we go into
Mhm.
next year, nothing changes, and they're still struggling, and you're kind of stuck, and now you're in the same spot a year from now. Well, now you're going to dump the guys that you don't really want to get rid of, and you're going to be stuck with guys like Huberdeau that aren't producing and are chewing up big money. But I guess if you're retooling and starting from the bottom up, who cares? You should have plenty of cap space.
Yeah, I think the wild cards are Shillington. Like, we don't know where he's at. Does he ever play hockey again? Does he play top 4 next year? That's a pretty wide berth of things that could happen, right? Dustin Wolf. Want to see him at the NHL level. I don't know that now's the time necessarily, although they're not going to say, but that is a big factor in the life cycle of an NHL team. Can you get saves from a goalie beyond average? He's done it at every level except this one. And then the other one we haven't really talked about all year on this show, but it's important. Their first rounder from a couple of years ago, Matthew Coronado, is filling the net with Harvard. They're in the ECAC playoffs. They'll be in the tournament, which extends his season. He could start burning year one of an entry level as soon as the Frozen Four tournament. He's out, and he's the type of player they don't have a lot of. He's a winger that can score from distance and shoots it a shit ton. That's a nice piece to add in, whether you're in contention next year or shedding a Toffoli-like part.
And then it goes, now you're firing Daryl Sutter because he can't work with kids, right?
Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, it's the silliest. I'm being a bit ridiculous, but I mean, that is the that's the general consensus, is that he doesn't want to build up a team of kids and run that sort of daycare system. He's a win now guy. There's expectations. He's not in it. Anyway, I don't know.
It's I guess at the very start of the conversation, as we kind of put a bow on it, at least for now, it's just hard to look at this collection right now and feel like they're going to make a run here, because they're getting left behind. That gap is now, and I know Elliott said it going into that game on Saturday, it's not a direct, you're not in the same division, you're not fighting with Colorado, but if you don't win this game, troubles.
Well, take a look yesterday. Columbus is up 2-0 on Minnesota. You're like, shit, that's big. The Wild don't get points against Columbus, and then it was Kaprizov, overtime Kaprizov. They win 3-2. Ah, fuck. One of those years.
What do you think the mood's like, Rhett? You've been around a Sutter team when things aren't great.
He's lightened up publicly, hasn't he?
I don't think Daryl's smart enough to realize that right now is not the time to put the squeeze on. I mean, I think he had the squeeze on early, and he realized that maybe this wasn't working, and I think it's off. He's looked better. He looks more comfortable. Even the look on his face, he doesn't have that pissed off, I want to slap somebody after every game look. I think he's absolutely 100% realized that is not working. I better find a different way. He's been around long enough. We can critique him all we want. He's been around long enough. He knows when things aren't going the way they're supposed to, and he's smart enough to change it.
Yeah, we said it last week. He's stubborn, but he's not an idiot. He's a very smart human. And I think it was kind of rock bottom for that strategy with the Pelche thing. And now it seems like he's ready to battle with the media, who he took a swipe at on the weekend, not his own players, which we saw more of prior to the Pelche thing up until that point. What number is he? I think you know his number.
Coming up in March, we've got tickets for you to go and see this Calgary Flames team.
How about that?
That's right.
Yeah.
Thanks to Mad Rose Pub, we have tickets against Minnesota, New Jersey, Vegas, and the Los Angeles Kings.
It's 4 playoff teams, Dean.
That's right.
Lucky are you?
4. Mad Rose Pub in Royal Oak, 20 beers on tap, kid-friendly Saturdays, Sundays, and Mondays. They are firing out incredible food out of that kitchen every single day. Pizza, soup, steak. Before the end of the show, I'll go and see what the deal is today, because every day they've got something special going on at Mad Rose Pub. 15 Royal Vista Place. If you're anywhere close, put it into your GPS. Get there and enjoy yourself. madrose.pub is the website. Maybe you want to get some food brought in. Order it in to your workplace, to your office. Do it today. Good stuff there from Mad Rose Pub. 4 games coming up in March.
Love it.
There you go.
It's a busy month. I was just breaking it down.
Break it down.
15 games, 9 against playoff teams, 8 at home. And what remains after that's interesting. They have an incredibly soft final 2 weeks of the year. A lot at home, a lot of bad teams, but it feels like they're going to have to do something to actually make that matter at that point because they keep losing ground here. They're not treading water.
They should have sent Markstrom home.
It wasn't a practice
2 weeks
today,
ago.
so he's at home.
Right? You're having a kid. You're struggling.
They shouldn't have brought him on the road trip. That's for sure.
Struggling.
Bring Wolf up. I know it impacts the rank.
Honest to God, that might have, you think about it, and I get it. It's professional, and it's maybe not the approach that teams take, but on a personal level and on a let's get this guy ready to come back. I mean, I don't think he's going to get out of shape, but if he'd have been allowed to stay home knowing that he was having a child, you gain a lot of respect from the player. Now, you don't have to do it, and it's not expected, but for a guy that was struggling, it might have been brilliant. It might have been the absolute best thing to do for organizationally. You stay home, we'll call Wolfie, kid, reset, take 2 weeks, get settled in, get that routine going, come back. We're ready to have you back when you're ready to go. Because
the other thing is, like, I don't think you were, like, everyone's like, you can't bring up young goalies, you ruin them. Well, just send him back down. Like, if you're bringing him up and tell him he's got 2 months and this is his career, like if it's Carter Hart, you make him the one, of course it's going to mess with the guy's head. If he's up because Markstrom's having a kid, I mean, if he doesn't play well, you just don't play him again.
To do with it. You might not even play him.
A little bit crazy.
Come sit. Wolfie, you've been dynamite. We're going to give you a little reward here. We're going to give the kid a reward and a taste of what it's like, and let Markstrom relax and get reset with his life. I don't know. I think it could have been. I think it was an opportunity missed.
We said it here. Because when you're in that headspace, and listen, he's not had a great year, so it hasn't been a year of this. But when you're a few weeks out, a week out, you've got your phone on the bench during practice. You've got, is my phone charged? You're calling home, you're texting, this whole, like, it is to turn your life upside down. And anyone listening that's got a kid knows exactly what we're talking about. But then you factor in, as you say, Rhett, you're on the road. You're on the road. You're not playing well. You feel like shit because you're potentially letting your team down. You're traveling all the places. How are you? Are you good? Is that how? Send them home. You're right. It could have been. You almost kind of.
I don't know what the downside would have been. I don't know what the downside was.
I don't see one. It's not like he's been good for the last.
No. What was the downside? Season. Vladar knows he's getting his starts. He can get settled in to right, like focused on it. Like it wasn't that tough a travel trip. Like anyway, it's too late, so who cares? But
another great idea.
Hindsight, we're good at that.
From us, missed. No, listen, we said it at the time, didn't we?
I mean, yeah,
over a week ago. Send him home.
Give him a breather.
Send him home. He needs it. All of it. It made sense on every level. So. I want to tell you, we brought it up last week that one of our new partners, St. Eugene Golf Resort and Casino. I was looking at the old website. Got a lot going on there, hey?
You tell me. You were just at the
Championship golf course. Yeah. You got the casino, restaurants. You into hiking? You like hiking? You like getting out and getting fresh air and that?
Mountaineer over there in Buffalo. He doesn't have views like that. And
love taking my dog for long walks and hikes. It's great.
Yes, he loves it too. Championship golf course, casino, spa, restaurants, mountains surrounding you in all directions. It's time to discover or rediscover the St. Eugene Golf Resort and Casino. Yes, it's the end of February. We're getting into March. I saw on their website 40 some odd days before they're going to be cracking open that golf course.
That's it. Wow.
The Spring Swing Golf Package is now available starting at just $259. Yeah. You and a friend can enjoy one night stay, round of golf, power cart. Spring Swing available from April 14th to May 17th. Why don't you just go check out the website, steugene.ca, on social media at St. Eugene Resort. And spoiler, I'm going.
I was going to say, do you have any plans for the last 2 weeks of April?
I'm just throwing mama in the back of the...
I've just actually wiped that part of the calendar clean because what I thought was going to be happening in the last 2 weeks of April, I'm not sure is going to be happening now.
Oh, is that right?
Well, the playoffs start on around the 17th or 18th,
Oh,
so suddenly might have a lot of time available.
Jinxie. Dude, go check that website out, steugene.ca. It's truly one of those places where you knew about it, you've seen it, you know exactly what we're talking about, but maybe hasn't been in the front of your mind. It should be now. St. Eugene Resort. Got your golf resort casino. You see it there out by Cranbrook, British Columbia. I feel like you must have a lengthy Pinder report today, given everything that happened over the weekend. It's another one.
Like,
poor James Duthie. Duthie's not going to have anything to talk about.
It's going to be 8 hours of talking about trades that happened a week ago, it looks like, because there was a ton of trades in the NHL over the weekend. Let's get to it.
All right. So Pinder Report, it's brought to you by Village Honda, your dealership for life in the Northwest Auto Mall. They still want to buy that car of yours. You can sell it to them, get paid in 24 hours. There's no hassle, no obligation. Just get your appraisal done today. You can contact them again via the website or go see them. 7663 110th Ave Northwest. It's the Northwest Auto Mall. It's villagehonda.com. It's Village Honda with the Pinder Report.
Well, boys, we'll start in Denver, the Windy City. Right?
That's right.
City by the Bay.
Yep. Big Apple.
Not a lot of positives for the Calgary Flames, who fell down 2-0 on the first two shots of the game faced by Jacob Markstrom, although there was this little doozy that helped for a while at least swing the momentum in their direction as Milan Lucic got back together with an old foe.
Nope.
Yeah, there's Milan Lucic throwing the...
That was a ripper.
Nope.
Come on, Elias.
Just out for a rip, are you, bud?
Stay out of the box.
That's two for him, eh? Lucic and McDermott again. Fourth time in their career. You realize that?
Two big dudes.
Oh, and Milan. Looked like he was in trouble early, but he's hanging in. And then little boop, bonk. 1-2, buckle your shoe. McDermott down for the count. Four tilts in their season, in their careers against each other. That's actually the most amongst any player in the NHL that Milan scrapped against. Don't know if you know that. You could throw the graphic up if we have it, or the fight.
Stroked him.
Yeah, he did.
Right across the beak.
Beak.
Not sure I need that. Of all the things that I kind of still on my list of things I would like.
I disagree, Dean. I think you need it more often than, and sometimes Pinder and I would like to give it to you.
Yeah.
Now listen.
You out of the nice guy all the time.
Who needs to get right? Who needs to get popped on a more regular basis? Huh?
There's your fight card. Your boy Prusty, number 2.
Wait a minute.
Is that right? Is that the
That's his fight card for his career. Milan Lucic. 4 against McDermott, 3 against Brandon Prust, 3 against spooky tough Jared Bowl. Dalton Prout, forever a Flame. He 3 times. And Borowski.
I actually think Prout drilled Luch in one of those fights.
Really?
Knocked him on his ass. One of the few times.
Prout had a good one against Luch.
Now, question: if you are going to get stroked, would you mind doing it for $987,000 a season? If you have to take one, at least get paid that. That's what Curtis McDermott's making, right? Still not fun. I don't know. I wouldn't be getting up as quick as he did. Yeesh.
Beak.
Yeesh. And Daryl Sutter, post game, not hard on his players. You know who's letting this team down? The media. Don't know if you saw this.
I didn't see it. No, I didn't see it.
It's you and Boomer. Negativity.
Look at this. This is Julie McKenzie of The Athletic. I'm cheering for the Flames. Not everyone standing here is. Ooh.
Well, we're not allowed to cheer. Not allowed.
Are media supposed to cheer? Have you been giving a rough ride in your time in Calgary over the years? Is this a voracious, unfair group of journalists? Ooh. This might be the easiest market.
It is the easiest market
in this country. Not even
for an Alberta boy, it sure is.
And he comes into Roses like Daryl. There's some battles you can win and lose. This ain't a winning fight. Trying to pretend the media is a part of the problem here. Like, yeah, if Wes Gilbertson had been standing for that power play, huh?
Maybe if your tone was a little bit better, Warner.
Yeah. If Warner hadn't said that thing, there's another save for Markstrom.
Listen. The only reason I feel comfortable bitching and moaning as much as I have is because I'm a million miles away. I'm cozy in the Eastern time zone. I don't have to run into anyone at the grocery store. It's easy out here.
If Darren Hayes didn't write that article, I would have taken Luke off that line a month ago. Damn media. Stop letting this team down. Beat reporters.
Hey,
Daryl. Job.
Daryl, if you could like and subscribe.
Yeah, please. 5 stars.
That'd be good. Subscribe. FlamesNation channel on YouTube. On your Spotify and Apple download.
Gotta subscribe and like.
If you click on the bell, it'll alert you every time the new one goes up.
Maybe that's what's happened. You know what? Well, ding. If I had a light bulb thing to do the visual, I would let it go up. That's what's happened. Do you know, Dean, Ryan, over the course of our show, how many times have we influenced and made aware all the issues and the problem or the answers to these problems, right?
For free.
Power play issues, flight issues, diet and health issues, mental issues. We've answered a lot of this stuff. The problem is they don't know where we have to get in front of them and let them know that we're no longer on the radio. It's a podcast. They got to find us on a podcast now.
You got to get Daryl to change his listening habits, then we're fine.
Yes, we have to
it is
get
our fault.
in front of Send him an email.
Poor Markstrom. Hey, everyone's pointing fingers at him. It's our bad. Sorry about that.
You're the ones, cursing former Flames, scoring.
Tell them to like and subscribe.
Dobson, Jankowski.
Going a big heater here. Going a big heater.
Let's go.
Let's go.
Yeah,
Barn burner.
Once that media straightens things out, this team's on a heater. Problem solved. Let's go. Here's maybe why Daryl's playing the us against the world card. Here's a look at the Western Conference standings, fellows, as Calgary finds themselves still looking up at the 2 wild card teams, although those 2 teams have changed. Suddenly the Jets in a wild card, Seattle in a wild card, and again, 4 points from wild card to first in the Central, 3 points from wild card to first in the Central, 6 points from wild card to first in the Pacific. She is wide open in the West, fellas, aside from don't play Colorado. That's the one. Still a waste of 8 days in jet fuel, right?
Gotta be. Might be less than that now.
Are we at all worried about these Oilers continuing to climb it's...
Well, they lost to Columbus in regulation the other night, so, I still wonder about their ability to defend. But yeah, no one's taken these divisions, so.
But in a season ends today, LA Edmonton round 1, who are you taking?
Well, I like that matchup. It was 7-gamer last year.
Wasn't the ass? Because
I'm
can't
just
do it.
Jinxie pants.
Okay,
I can't
good.
say anything there. Nothing's gonna work.
All right, fine.
If I say one, I'm a turncoat. If I say the other, I'm jinxing.
I hate jumping in front of Pinder on the Pinder report because this is his time to shine. But it is interesting to look at the Western Conference numbers compared to the Eastern Conference numbers. What's the top team in the West? 70. Okay, sorry.
76 points, Vegas.
So while it's like he's reading the script. Let's go to those Eastern Conference standings where the team at the top is the next team the Calgary Flames will be playing. And 95, a little more than 76, 82 more than 76, 78, 86, 83, 77. Every team not in a wild card would be winning their division in the West. And that's with the not so fun having to play the East schedule that they've been dealt. You could make a case these 6 best teams in the NHL are all in the Eastern Conference if you just ignore the fact that Colorado's a machine that's just ready to get healthy and go.
Boston is on pace
certainly
to become the fastest team, Rhett, to hit the 100-point plateau.
Which means they're also on pace to break the record for wins in an NHL season, which would be something. Speaking of Boston, we know about the massive season David Pasternak's having. Patrice Bergeron refuses to age. Marchand's still Marchand. Krejci comes back from Europe. He's been great. Jake DeBrusk wanted out. Now he's just scoring on the top line. We haven't been talking about the monster offensive output of Linus Ullmark.
He's a goaltender,
because he is finding ways to chip in. Take a peek here, Rhett.
Those jerseys look good, though. I feel bad.
Yeah.
You know,
just listen to Jack Edwards here too.
Besser's stick. Olmark is gonna try it, and he scores! Linus Olmark, the odds-on Vezina Trophy winner, scores an empty net goal to seal this win. You're seeing history. The selling line.
It's Ray Jack Edwards, boys.
Predict back.
Vancouver uses the middle of the offensive blue line for a redirect. That's got to go to one corner to the other. You can't allow the goaltender to
Vancouver. At least it didn't happen in a building that, you know, they won the cup in and the fans already hated that team so fucking much.
That's right. Yeah. I'm sure they've forgotten about it, though. It was a long time ago.
Quinn Hughes wasn't even in there, and he frickin' rips the puck after it goes in. He's pissed. Bruins are good, boys. We'll see it tomorrow night here at the Dome. They're in Edmonton tonight.
They're not.
That way, that's the day coming. Holy. Here's the Flames schedule, fellas, as we move into the month of March. Tomorrow, last day of the month, also the final game of the month of February. And it's a who's who of teams that we think are in the playoffs that the Flames will be facing here. Not just that, but maybe some of the best teams in the league. So there's the end of the month after Boston. Toronto on the 2nd. I've added a nice little trade deadline, ding, 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 graphic there on the 3rd. That's at 1 p.m. Mountain. And then Minnesota twice in 4 nights. Dallas in there as well.
There's a good chance that one of those teams will be in the Stanley Cup Finals come June. Over the next 4 opponents.
Yeah. And if you factor in their last opponent, I would give you a good shot at 2 teams being in there because it was Colorado on Saturday. It's the meat of the schedule, Dino.
I didn't know you were that high on Anaheim.
Yeah, there you go, eh?
Big Ducks guy.
When does Bedard arrive there? Can he get here now? Does there still playing in Regina?
Overrated, remember, though.
Overblown. Yeah.
Overblown.
NHL, let's get to some trades. We have a lot of trades to announce. You're going to want to hear this. I think it's getting better. Am I getting closer?
Yeah, that's good.
Okay, good. We'll start with the biggest fish of them all, a shark. Timo Meier off to New Jersey. There's the trade. They're eating half the money. He's got a $10 million QO this summer, qualifying offer, RFA. Devils do not have a deal in place, have not talked extension. They can do so now as they own him. He comes over with Scott Harrington, depth defender, and a whole lot of stuff going to San Jose. It's the first rounder this year, conditional first next year, and a couple lottery tickets and 2 young prospects. It's not blow me away amazing for the Sharks, but feel free to hit on those firsts. And yeah, maybe it is a great opportunity to retool. It's also a lot of bodies there, and they are not a deep flush system with prospects. Tough spot for the Sharks. Really good landing spot for Meier, and the Devils all of a sudden in that Metro division line up with the Rangers in round 1 because Carolina probably wins that division, Rhett. We could have Toronto, Tampa, and Rangers, Devils in round 1. That's amazing.
Let's start it now. I got a new popcorn popper. I'm ready for the playoffs. Let's go.
Did you get a new one?
Now, are you butter and then salt? Or are you just using salted butter? Like, walk me through your popcorn. You're layering. Give me fuel, give me fire, give me Timo fucking fire.
That's a great shirt. That's a great shirt. Holy shit.
That guy was putting that on the internet for like a month. And that dude rocking the XXX got his wish, baby.
That's at least a trip.
Yeah, that's a tarp. That's not a shirt. That's a tarp.
Can you put the logo on?
Can you get a logo on a Momo?
Come on,
that's awesome. All right, good stuff.
He's going to jail. That guy.
Timo Meier. There you are.
Good thing Lamoriello isn't still there. A guy be in handcuffs already.
Holy.
Using a logo.
Never mind. It's not clean shaven. That guy could use a razor and a step climber.
I don't.
Okay.
I use butter flavored olive oil, Ryan. Butter flavored olive oil. It's healthy.
Jeez, didn't see that one coming. All right. Well, that's why we ask him. I feel like that could have been saved for Thursday's Ask Rhett, but there it is. Not the only deal we saw on the weekend. Let us take a peek at the Nashville Predators, who made some news we'll get to later. They send Tanner Jeannot, hey, did you know they got more picks than Tanner Jeannot has N's in his name? And there's 4 of them. That's quite something. What a haul for Nashville. A first, a second, a third, a fourth, a fifth. Tampa really likes them. And they get Cal Foote. They've traded both Foote brothers now, have the Lightning. And this feels a bit like the Brandon Hagel deal. It feels a bit like the Blake Coleman deal. They're willing to give you more for guys they think they can get locked in at a low cap number.
That is an incredible haul.
It really is. And if that's David Poyle's last deal as GM, it could be a whale of a deal.
What the hell's Tampa thinking with that?
Well, I mean, it is the one front office I wouldn't second guess. They really like Tanner Jeannot would be the assumption here.
Yeah. Because they gave up almost 20 firsts for Hagel.
2 firsts for Hagel and
last year.
And they gave up the 2 prospects, Taylor Radish and the other guy that was
on
the World Junior team. Other deals. Ivan Barbashev to Vegas, who they sure have first-round picks. They just never use them, or they just do for trade bait. Here's a list of all the first-rounders in the history of the Golden Knights franchise, Rhett. Cody Glass, trade. Nick Suzuki, trade. Eric Branson, trade. First-rounder 2018, traded for Thomas Tatar. Peyton Krebs, trade. Zach Dean, the man on the bottom of the list, he goes to St. Louis for Barbashev. And Brendan Brisson, the son of the agent Pat, the only first-rounder in Vegas history not to be traded yet.
Pack your bags.
They're not waiting around, Rhett. They got a plan there. It's win now.
What is use? And
yeah, they've always
back to
from day one.
Brisebois had the comment either yesterday or this morning, and it's much the same there. Is you don't know what you're getting from draft picks, and draft picks don't help you now. They help you maybe a few years down the road. And
they're in the window. For
Julien Brisebois, he says, we got draft picks. It's assets we use to help this team right now. And when you look at it, they've been to cup finals. They've won cups. They got still probably the best goalie in the world.
They're lining up against Toronto round 1, who just added O'Reilly and might add a D. I makes sense. You understand it's an overpay, but it's not the time to groom a 29th overall pick if you're Tampa.
You get rid of these. Like eventually you go that many years without a first rounder, it's going to come home to roost.
It will.
You're in a great market. You'll be able to get free agents. Of course, we know the tax situation for both Vegas and Tampa Bay. You're in a pretty good spot there. Yep. So
other deals. Check out this the visuals we've got here of a weather system moving into Manitoba, Dean. El Nino is Spanish for Winnipeg Jet. Let's see, was that it for a second round?
That's how it went, yeah.
On the weekend. How about that? Nino Niederreiter, Rhett. Look at this. They sent him the PJ. Wow.
Look, he's like, oh, fuck.
I got my jacket. They told me it's very cold here.
For the environment.
So goddamn cold here.
Yada-doody, 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 da.
Hey,
Yada-doody, da. Yada-doody, da. Swiss.
What is this hellhole I have entered?
Not too bad here. I was told colder.
I thought it was going to be colder. Oh, you got a pickup truck, eh?
Yeah,
it is cold. Yeah.
The wind, that'll get you.
Oh, man, it's wind, eh?
Yeah,
Jeez.
well, it won't stop, so you'll get to enjoy it every day.
Wait till June.
Let me tell you something there, Nino. That wind's going to last longer than your smile. They're in a wild card. Nice little ad for a second rounder. He's got next year on his deal. Keandre Miller. There's other deals we talked about last week. Orlov and Hathaway to Boston. There's some minor stuff. Dadonov, actually, another one that happened. Swapped straight up for Dennis Gurianov, who scores against the Flames, but apparently not anyone else anymore.
Your buddy.
He's good against Calgary. Jack Johnson's back in Colorado. Bubble Toes. Whatever the hell he's singing. Back with the Cup champs.
Bubble Toes.
Kravtsov to Van. All kinds of deals, boys. My goodness. Wow. The deal was 1-for-1.
And you go across the board, somebody had made the kind of the observation. There's a lot of guys leaving the West going to the East. You have Horvat going to New York. You've got Tarasenko going to New York, right? You've got a lot of these guys going from
other thing to notice
from West to East.
That's right. Other thing, a lot of forwards. D market remains flush. Chychrun, Gavrikov, McCabe, Soucy, Carlson, Schenn, Klimberg, Ekholm.
Uyghur.
Forwards.
Tanev.
Zadorov, please. A lot of forwards moved. The D market maybe finds its feet. We'll see. Okay. We mentioned the Rangers.
See Dennis Mulligan?
Yes.
Dennis Mulligan.
Yeah.
Just fucking inside now.
See, you saw Dennis Malgin. I saw Nikita Zadorov. It's weird how that works. It's like one of those pictures where it's like, okay, tell us what you see. Oh, I see a dog chasing his tail. Oh, I see a man jumping out of a building. I saw a lot of Nikita Zadorov,
but it was one of those videos where it's like, watch it over and over and look at something different each time.
Yeah.
Like, who is that? Dennis Malgin. Okay, go back. Oh, Nikita Zadorov. Oh, geez, that's flat-footed.
You're flat-footed.
Back check. Let's have a back check.
Yeah, you could use it. And in fairness, that was another thing you could look for. Is there a back check there? A little soft on the back check.
It's like a good piece of art. Just something new catches the eye every time you see it. Thank you for that. Keandre Miller spat on Drew Doughty, and that somehow is related to Patrick Kane. Let me explain. Patty Kane, $10 million a year. They're going to have someone eat half the money. Looks like he's going to line up potentially with the New York Rangers. They're sending guys down. They're trying to get enough cap space, accruing a little bit every day so they can bring them in ahead of the deadline. And now with 5D, Keandre Miller could be facing a suspension for a spit upon Drew Doughty. Have a little watch here. I don't know if he means to do this or not. We'll talk about his apology afterwards.
Plead his case there. Yes. No, I didn't.
No, sorry, I didn't
I wouldn't do it.
Here it is. Look at this. Huck Patui. Ready?
Oh, geez, dude. Boy. Come on now.
Yeah, there's no denying it was a spit. Now, he did apologize online and said he had a chance to apologize to Drew Doughty in person, that this was totally accidental and that he's embarrassed. It's nothing that he
it was accidental. It's like when you fall on the goalie accidentally on purpose.
Accidental on purpose.
So how does this tie into with the spitting in the cane?
Well, so if he's suspended, you're gonna roll 4D. You're gonna now Braden Schneider. You're gonna put him down for money. Sounds like by Wednesday they might have enough space now. They could have had it done tomorrow if not for this. But then we got to see if he's suspended.
Way to go, Miller.
He's going there, right?
Yeah.
Rangers Devils round 1 is going to be.
You find a way.
Woo. And they will.
If
they have to play with 5D for a night, they'll do it. Who cares? Big news in Nashville, not just the Tanner Jeannot 5-piece acquisition, 6 including Cal Foote. David Poile, the only GM in the history of the Predators, Rhett, will now become the first of 2 general managers in Nashville Predator history. He gone. That's 26 years. There's Elliot Friedman tweeting that. Going to stay on as a consultant? Why not? Brett, would you stay on as a consultant and eat popcorn and watch hockey for free? I'd do it.
100%. I love that.
Sit at the table at the draft, say hi to your pals.
Longest tenured GM because he was 14 years in Washington before that.
Yeah, and then what's this? We got a GIF up here. Who's this, Retro?
Look at that guy.
The penguin. Yep, we're going upstairs. He says, "Thumbs up." We heard for a while. Barry Trotz wasn't about his next coaching job so much as where could he potentially get a gig as GM. Well, where do they know Barry Trotz better than Nashville? Winningest coach in franchise history, longest chapter of his career is with the Preds. Very interesting. It all makes sense. And, hindsight reporting, apparently bought a home in Nashville last summer.
And do you think he runs the risk of getting fired?
In Nashville,
right?
No.
There you go. There's your job.
Take it for a
decade.
Take
it for as long as you want it. Let us know when you're done. I'm happy for that guy.
Everyone loves Barry Trotz. Now, but this does throw into question some of the reporting from a year ago where a guy at a gas station said he was coming to the Jets. He's not going to the Jets. Don't give me that face. All right. Fair. Other sports. We hate them, but we are forced to talk about them.
It works for Eric Francis, but this time, is that how it goes?
I don't know.
Okay.
Damian Lillard, 71 points last night. You ever hung 71 in the NBA, Rhett, in the association?
Yes. NBA Jams, I think it was the game was called, and I absolutely crushed it. I was dynamite.
Speaking of dynamite, watch this drive here. There's one guy.
Flushed him in the right hand.
Damian Lillard.
Flushed.
Down the boulevard. Love the boulevard. You might care about this. I knew you were in the bidding, and after getting rejected with your offer to buy the Saskatoon Blades, it's only a matter of time before Rhett does find a pro sports team to own. Sounds like your offer was a little light for the Milwaukee Bucks, who sold for $3.5 billion.
Oh.
That's what, the smallest market, second smallest market in the NBA? and the second highest sale price for an NBA franchise since, the one last month. Holy shit. Rhett, you need wealthier buddies if you're going to buy a team. Prices like this, inflation's killing you, man.
What's Snyder going to get for Washington?
Why not $5 billion?
Like, what's he going to get for
and
that?
2 years ago, he'd been like probably $2 billion.
My goodness.
Crazy.
You're a horrible human, and we're going to make you sell your team. You'll learn a lesson.
Here's $5
billion.
Actually, I'll take 6, and he's probably right. He could probably get 6.
I guess I'll take my lumps.
Yeah. It's
Jesus
crime and
Christ.
punishment, eh?
Hey?
Yeah.
To be that, to have run afoul that badly.
Yeah. That's the punishment.
Yeah. Sorry, you're going to have to live with it.
Well, and that's like the douchebag in Phoenix who just sold the Suns for what was the highest selling price. So. Crazy. And finally, the Chicago Bears sitting first overall in that NFL draft. We talked a lot about
the Cocaine Bears.
Boys, no, not nor Meth Bear. This is the Chicago Bears, the weakest of all those Bears you mentioned. They don't really need a quarterback with Justin Fields, and they're sitting at 1, and there's a whole lot of teams between 2 and 10 that do need a quarterback. Boom, boom. This would make for a very entertaining NFL draft if the Bears wanted to throw that into play, and it sounds like they have. Cool.
Oh, trade the pick. Stay with Fields.
Yeah.
Let the other guy be an absolute stud,
Yes.
and Fields washes out.
100%. Just like Mitch Trubisky. Remember they did that with him? Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Do it again. And speaking of Bears, you have Meth Bear, which is the Bruins jerseys that were at the outdoor game.
Mm-hmm.
You have Chicago Bears. We had Cocaine Bear, the movie that Rhett's very excited about. And we also have a word of wisdom to Rhett next time he's hunting. You can put the camera down and help your buddy when he runs into Forest Bear.
I didn't know you. Were you hunting?
I don't know what he's doing, but look at this.
I
He's
love
got his
getting
buddy
it.
there. And look, Rhett's working the camera here, taking video.
Is that Weimer?
Can you help the big animal?
Because I know Weimer's big into hunting.
The big human
Well,
said he
come
could
on.
handle it.
The big human could not handle it. And yeah, you can climb a tree, but so can bears. That's the problem.
Well, I know you do, dude. Weemsy. Get away. Dude in a tree.
Rhett, you're filming. I can watch the camera shaking. You gonna go help your bud? Like, throw a brick at this
Well,
guy.
I'm going to draw attention to myself. I'm sorry, Boom Boom, but you're going to have to feed this bear.
The good news was, though, Rhett was committed to getting good content for the Pinder report. So he didn't run. He just stayed and kept filming.
Jesus, that bear is 3 times that guy's size. Holy cow.
And by weight, probably 10. Yeah. Rhett fluent in Russian. Didn't know
That's
that.
right.
That's your Pinder report, fellas.
I've been taking
Brought to you
jiu-jitsu.
by-
I can take that bear.
That's right. Yeah.
Brought to you by Village Honda. Northwest Auto Mall, the all-new CRV Hybrid has arrived. It is on the ground at Village Honda. Stop by, see it, road test it, smell it, feel it, taste it. Order one for yourself at Village Honda, your delership for life. VillageHonda.com. I mean, what do you do there?
My question is, Dean, do you think you could have got up that tree?
No. What are you supposed to do? Just lay down, play dead? Stop, drop, and roll? What do you do?
Follow you around like a
For
ball
me,
for
at
half an hour?
in this particular instance, I would be saying, Dean or Ryan, can you help me out here? Can you
Yeah.
cause a
Stop
distraction?
filming.
of
Get
some
your ass over here. Rhett?
Throw this bear a ham sandwich and get me out of here.
Yeah, seriously.
Do you have any honey? Do you have a jar of honey on you by
You
chance?
seen the sniffer on that animal? I think he's coming to you if you got honey in your backpack. He's not going for the tree.
You know what? I was told over the weekend that because it's warming up and springtime is coming, that springtime is big for engagements. When did you get engaged? What time of year?
It was, well, see, we did it all backwards. We had kids first, so that didn't really do it well. I think it was the fall, but spring would have made sense.
Yeah.
That is the season. Flowers in
think you got
bloom,
his
love is in the
pictures.
Yeah.
air.
Well, when did you take photos in the water with
See, that was the pregnancy one, and that would have been spring for sure.
Yeah.
And those were creepy as shit and still get sent to me by my buddies, and it's still funny. to them.
Those
Can you
are the
explain what
t-shirts
they are
for me,
exactly?
please.
So when, what was bursting at the seams of 2 in the single occupancy?
Were there 2 in
apartments.
there?
There was 2 in there.
Yeah.
I mean,
Bunk beds.
1 civil. One hardened criminal
Yeah.
ready to take over the world.
So
It's
two
pinky in the brain in there. That's what it
two
was.
buns in the oven.
Yeah. She really wanted to get some photos done. And so we had a photographer that she really liked. And we went to a park that she really liked. And we geared down and waded into the pond, which she really liked. And we got a bunch of black and white photos where I look like a total douche.
Well, I mean, what do you do? Are you like fly
Just
fishing? Or?
caressing and holding and looking sappy. It's not my proudest moment. Certainly on the scale of Vance Joy concerts, it's quite a bit worse.
So either way, you know, that's what the again. So Retro, when did you pop the question? When was it?
It would be spring. Yeah, it was
because I was told spring
June-ish.
Engagement season.
is engagement season, which got me to thinking maybe you haven't, because the three of us here, we all went to Vina Nova and got our wives gifts for Christmas. And I can only speak for myself. It was a huge hit.
You can speak for all of us. It was fantastic. They have not left her ears since arriving.
Yeah, it's she's getting comments about it. She's showing it off. She's super pumped about it. And I know that the shoveler is the same way. Prior to hearing from Justin from Vina Nova, I didn't know anything about lab-grown diamonds. I knew nothing about the process or that there was value to it or anything, which makes me a shitty husband. But, you know, whatever.
Better every day, Dean.
Better now.
Yep.
Vina Nova is Calgary's lab-grown diamond specialist, the only store in Calgary that specializes exclusively in lab-grown diamonds. So if you're one of those guys, you think, man, is this the year the heat is on? I know we're getting married. I'm going to pop the question, do that whole thing. But how do you get a ring? How much money do you spend on a ring? This is how you do it. The product is second to none. We've talked about it. There's the mined diamonds, and then there's these. They're the same.
Same composition.
In many cases, more pristine than the stuff that comes that's mined out of the ground. 80%, 70%, 60% is what you're going to save on these, or you just get more bang for your buck.
Two strategies, Dean. You save a bunch of money, or you blow the doors off that piece of jewelry with more diamonds.
Yeah. So if this is potentially, and I'm not saying do it, but if you're going to,
if you are going to do it,
you know,
let's
if you're
do it
going
right.
to do it, then there's no other way to, there's nothing else to tell you. Vinanova.com is the website. They are in the second floor of Stephen Avenue Place. Justin is solid. His sister, great family, great people. They have been in the jewelry business for decades. And this is the way to go. Vina Nova, lab grown. Why do I smell? Why?
I mean, if you're going to do it,
you're going to do it.
Vina Nova.
Vinanova.com.
You don't have to get those sappy photos done either. That's should have stood.
So you were in the water too with the there was a sash.
And have my arm around the big
yeah, you were doing one of those the old
trying to get around. It's too hard. She's 4 feet around at the end there.
Watch
48 inches around.
Easy enough. You'll be having to go to buying more jewelry if you're not careful.
There's 2 kids in there.
Yeah.
Your fault. Well, my fault for putting 2 in there.
I heard what. Yeah, you did.
I'm batting 2,000.
Yeah, you are. Yeah, you are. We're guess Betway best of the day.
Yes.
You want to do some Betway?
We got a fun one tonight, boys.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
I don't tend to look forward to Oiler games, but I am looking forward to this one tonight.
Well, and it's you do a little homework. You
That's
ready
right.
for Flames and Bruins?
Yeah, a little pre-scout.
You're a pro.
Pre-scout. Betway bets of the day brought to you by Betway. Get the Betway app on your phone. Be 19. Be responsible. But it gives you all the odds. They had I went looking at the. They had another super boost kind of a thing today, but it had the Oilers to win.
Yeah.
Backed off a little bit.
Anyone to win against the Bruins. I mean, it's not just a screw the Oilers thing.
Yeah. So they had a couple pre-made bets. I jumped in on both. I'm feeling Pasternak. I've got a little Pasternak. I feel like it's in the air. Avalanche, Golden Knights, Bruins at Oilers. Nate Dogg, as they said numerous times in the broadcast.
Too many.
Yeah, it's a lot.
Yeah,
Nate Dogg and Pasta, both to score tonight, plus 200. I'm staying with Pasta, throwing in a McDavid instead this time. McDude, Pasta, get at least a goal each, plus 200. I like plus on both of those, and I feel like all those guys are scoring at quite a clip right now.
Well, let me see if this tickles your pickle. I got some similar ideas here, but I'm going to add another picante pepper in there.
Yeah.
As it's it's Pasternak, McDavid, and Big German. Plus 450.
So you got the Oilers getting 2, at least.
Oh, yeah, I mean, Pasta's going to get 3 on his own, so.
A power play. Yeah, power play comes through.
And we've had some success with this Mo Sider assist, plus 162. That's up from the usual plus 140. We'll take that against Alex's Senators, who, well, the rebuild's over, guys.
Well, the Red Wings, they were plus money in Ottawa. I almost went just with Detroit to win on the money line, plus money there, but
Detroit. Detroit were in a playoff spot last week, and percentage points still very good, but they got to get some real wins here to stay in one of those wild cards to get back in.
There you go. That's your Betway Bets of the day. Betway Bets of the day. Get the app on your phone.
Go get
B19 and all that. So what's up for the rest of the day there, Rhett? What's going on? It's a Monday,
Today I got a hockey practice, 5:15. I've decided I need to start taking my diet a little bit better, so I'm going to cook a bunch of food and have the snacks or healthier snacks set in the fridge ready to go, as opposed to reaching in and grabbing junk food.
If there's no junk food, there's nothing to grab for.
That's right. That's right, Ryan.
That's what happens in my house.
You know me.
Going for a snack and
olive oil, butter. I mean,
kale leaf this big. I guess I don't get a snack.
What about you?
I got the jump in the spacesuit, get zapped, and then what do we got tonight? I'll watch some Oilers Bruins meetings here or there.
Mm-hmm.
Let's go.
There you go.
That's sell the Monday. My spacesuit for cheap. Just text me, fax me a check.
You're selling? Did you buy a spacesuit?
I have a bunch of space suit hours or sessions.
Oh, very good. Oh, when you're back,
Dean. You know what, Dean?
Dean,
back on the horse, big boy. Get into one of those suits.
Sure, thanks. Tomorrow, game day for the Flames. Boston in town. Original 6 team coming in. Always a little extra juice in the barn. And let's be safe in saying, important game for the Calgary Flames. A big 2 points up for grabs.
Not gonna fight you. It wasn't the first game back.
Oh, you son of a bitch! You can't end the show.
That's tomorrow. Thanks for joining us. Like, subscribe, support sponsors. See you tomorrow.